welcome to SharePoint Power Hour. I'm Laura Rogers, and I have Joelle Jobson here on audio. And this is our, we're doing SharePoint Admin Center updates today. Power Hour is a live show we do Wednesdays at 11 Central, where we talk about SharePoint, Office 365, and just usually non-technical things that you can do out of the box. We have a Slack channel, and in the description of this YouTube video, there's a link to join, and there's a link to fill out a form to ask to be invited if you haven't joined yet. And that's the fun of having a live show, is being able to chat and ask questions and talk through things the whole time. So I also put a link or a reference link to the Microsoft article that we're going to be talking about. And I put that in the chat window. At least I'll put it again just in case. I'll put it in the general little section there. It's a blog post by Microsoft called "Unleash Your SharePoint Admin Superpowers with New Admin Center Capabilities." So that's what I'm going to be demoing today, is the new Admin Center capabilities. And not everybody is necessarily going to have these. They're, I think, still rolling out, still in the middle of rolling out. So it's, you may or may not have some of the things I'm going to be showing, but I do, out of the 3 tenants that I have, I did find this functionality in 2 of the 3 ones. So, all right. And let's see, we make sure I sent you all the link. I've got the link pulled up so we can kind of go through some of this stuff. And a lot of the stuff, if you went to Ignite, they did sessions having to do with this, you know, the new things you can do with admin. But being an admin at heart, and admin is that's my background. That's where I came from. That's what I started off in SharePoint as. So I wanted to go ahead and just dig into this and look at a lot of this cool stuff that they rolled out. So you guys come say hello in the Power Hour channel in Slack in the chat window, and let me know if you're an admin or not, or what you think, or if you've tried any of this stuff yet. And we'll just talk through all this, and it'll be fun. So, Joelle, have you seen some of this new stuff? Had you heard about some of it?
Yep, I heard about it at Ignite, and I know it's really exciting, especially with not having to use PowerShell to do the hub site stuff.
Oh yeah, that's huge. So that's one of the big things that we're going to talk about, is being able to actually do anything with hub sites, managing hub sites, without having to just use PowerShell. And we did a whole other Power Hour that Joelle did a few months ago, where we talked about this new concept that they rolled out called hub sites. And with hub sites, just a real quick recap, it's basically they're trying to phase people away from having all these subsites. And the concept is that everything would be a top-level site collection, and a hub site would be sort of like a parent site, where you could take all these sort of child sites and point them to that parent and say, you know, this is a hub site and these are its children. And the only way to do that, to take a site and make it a hub site, or to take a site and have it be a child of a hub site, was to use PowerShell. So now they've added some stuff in the Admin Center. Power Hour or 2 ago, I demoed some new capabilities in Flow, and I think the reason it didn't actually work when I built my Flow was because my admin, like the SharePoint side on my tenant, hadn't gotten that update yet. So in Flow, it actually showed me the new actions and let me create a flow that uses the new actions having to do with hub sites, but the SharePoint part on my side wasn't really ready for for what Flow was trying to send it. So I actually created a flow that lets people request, if you are an owner of like a site that you want to be a child of a certain hub site. Like if I have a site called Marketing Projects and I want it to roll up to be part of the marketing hub, then it wouldn't let me just join it whenever I want. It would make me go through an approval process. So anyway, so I was speaking of hub sites. So we're gonna talk about all these updates that have come out. and go through and demo, because it looks like this tenant of mine does have a good bit of them, at least. So you can make this admin center your default, and sometimes once you make it your default, as soon as you go to your Office 365 admin and go to SharePoint admin, it will just take you here to this new admin center that you see on my screen. So that with the classic one, we didn't used to even have Office 365 groups listed in here, but now we actually have Office 365 groups, and you can see it's a good indicator is the fact that it says group owners as being the owner of some of these Office 365 groups. And then it tells you the template. It also tells me, see, some of these, like this one right here, is a classic team site, and it has just my name and it has classic experience. But the ones that say team site without the word classic experience after them, those are the ones that I converted to be Office 365 groups, or created as Office 365 groups. And it lets you actually see. We didn't used to be able to see the Office 365 groups here at all. You can also go to a specific site here. These are all site collections. And I have some new menu items up here. So I didn't used to be able to do anything with owners or make it a hub site or lots of those things from this menu. You can also use this little information button. So pretend like this is a SharePoint list, and it's that same exact concept in a SharePoint list to be enabled in the modern look, to be able to click that information button and see details about that specific item. So Insights is a new thing that they've added. Insights, so I can actually see some metrics just quickly from right here. So I can see like 87 page views in the last 3 days. This is our main site. We've got a lot of views of this one, 56 files, viewed or edited. And then the last activity was just a couple of days ago. I can quickly see the domain URL, the template it uses, if it's associated with a hub site, and if it's associated with an Office 365 group. And a lot of that metadata is also in some of these columns across the page. Again, just like a SharePoint list. And I can also, and now before in the classic experience, I could also do things with admins from the SharePoint Admin Center as well. They're just with the site collection admins. Let's go look at this owners button, and we'll go look at these other buttons and see kind of what the difference is. So when I go to owners, this is the same thing as I can change the primary admin or add or remove admins. This is not an Office 365 group though. So this is just the classic, just the default root of my whole tenant, the root site. So I have not converted that to be an Office 365 group. So I can see it takes me to primary admin, that's me. And admins, it takes me to other admins. So this says company administrator. So basically anybody that's a company administrator is the admin of that site too. Let's go look at this other one that's an Office 365 group. And when I go click owners, see this is different. It says change group owners. So this is going to be the, I can go add Joelle. I can't edit the owners and members from here, but I can at least edit who the owners are. So now, congratulations, Joelle. You are one of the owners of this Office 365 group.
So honored.
Go ahead.
I said I'm so honored.
Yay! Tony says, I wish you could manage all the users within there. Well, I think they're still trying to encourage you to, as a SharePoint admin, you're not really usually micromanaging all these sites. So as a SharePoint admin, you're delegating that to say, okay, you and you're the owners. I don't really recommend any more than 2. And then those people are the ones that are adding and removing members. So we also have external sharing information right here. So I can say only existing external users right now can get that site externally shared with them. So I'll hide my little information panel. And then what else do I have? I have sharing here too. So a lot of these things I can do. I see that's the exact same thing. I can just do it from the toolbar here instead of having to go to an extra screen. Let's see if it's different, if it's different types of sites here. Community, no. I wonder if I have a communication site I can search. Oops, let's see, no. I will create one. So I'm going to create a communication site. And I can pick a design. I'll just do showcase. I'll just do communication, nice and generic. This is fairly new concept also. I don't know if it's on this blog post, but see, I can actually change this between, instead of it having to be /sites every time, I can actually put it as /sites or /teams. So I can change that URL a little bit. And then I'll say the site owner is me. And then, yeah, okay, anyway, I'll just finish doing this. Let's see. I can even do some extra things here that didn't used to be here. This is a test. Okay, so now it actually allowed me to create a communication site from here. You can't do that in the old school admin center. So I called it communication, and you can see that the template says communication site. And again, and all these menu items are a little bit the same. So with an Office 365 group, I just have change group owners here. But with a communication site and other sites, I actually do have a primary admin and other admins that I can have here. And I have this button called email. So other sites. Do I have email? No, I don't have email. So communication site is actually, let me refresh this just since it was just created. See if anything else lights up. I can email. So this is going to send an email to the primary admins of each site. So let's see. I can select all these. Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh? So that's one way that I could send out a blast email to every single site that I've selected here. This is a huge benefit. And just say, hey, let them know about something that's been updated in SharePoint that they might want to pass on, let them know about something going on the server. But before, there wasn't just any blanket way to communicate with all of your admins. Yeah. So this is just all the primary admins of each of these sites that you select here. Let's see. Another thing we have here is, look, some views. So this is just like a SharePoint list, like I said, and it's got some views. So I've got Office 365 group sites, which a couple of these are classic sites that were, I think maybe they were converted. Yeah. All these were built originally as classic sites, but were converted to be group sites. And then sites without a group, these are all just the old school classic sites. And if it's a site without a group, I can't necessarily change it to have a group from here, but I could go to I could go to the site and convert it. So let me go grab, I'll show you information. So I could take this old school site and say connect to new Office 365 group. And associate this team site to a new Office 365 group. And so that's one way that it can be done. I'm just going to say, I'm going to call this Jared, like that. And connect group. And it's almost done, and I can finish it. Okay. So now I just took an existing just classic site and converted it just from within the site. It's kind of just a little side note there. All right, so then once you do that, what that really does is now that one's going to be categorized as an Office 365 group site in my admin stuff, and it's got a new homepage that's going to be a modern homepage, and maybe that's taken a minute. All right, so I'll refresh that, and now Contoso projects shouldn't be in that list. Well, I think it's just going to take a minute to finish doing what it's doing. Largest sites is another view. So team files, that thing is huge. So that is a site that is the biggest site that we have. That's the one where we keep all the videos for the class that we teach. Or yeah, like it's like all the edits that we do with all the Camtasia, not videos to stream, but all like the Camtasia files and stuff, all the raw. So that takes up a lot of space. Least active sites. So this is going to be a good way that you could go look at. Of course, a lot of this is test stuff, so I'll have a lot of not very active sites. Look at this. So you could say, get a view of the least active sites, select all the sites, and send an email. So this email could be, hey, are you still using your site, or whatever. But that's a good way to quickly send an email to all the people that may not be using their sites anymore. Most popular shared sites. I'm not sure from an admin standpoint what benefit necessarily why I would want to go look at the most popular sites, but because as an admin, I'm usually wanting to clean things up or move things, archive things, move things around, or get rid of sites people aren't using, stuff like that. And I can go back to all and look at that. I can actually do my own view just like I can with a SharePoint list. That's awesome. So I'll do this little, see this little dash, dash, dash way over here. I can go customize columns and look at that. I can make my own view. So maybe I don't care about the storage or the template, last activity, when it was created. I just care about external sharing, Office 365 group, maybe page views. And then I can save this view. I don't have the option to do it as a private view, but I'm just going to call it just because I'm so creative. And so now I have all my awesome list of sites here. All this stuff you used to have to use PowerShell to be able to do stuff like this. And I can quickly see and look at that. I can quickly filter just like columns in a list. External sharing is off. External sharing is on. And so now I see this list of sites with external sharing on, whether they're an Office 365 group, etc. Pretty neat, right? Art says, does email go only to the site collection admin or site owners as well? It makes it sound like it's only going to the site collection admin, except for Office 365 groups, because they don't necessarily have a site collection admin. Let me go back to my other view here. See, the ones that have groups just has a group owners thing. So let's see, team site. Anyway, maybe I'll send one to group owners. I'll select a couple of these. Hopefully I didn't pick too many of those. Oh, okay. So did you see what that said? It said 2 emails sent successfully, 2 emails not sent because the sites are managed by a group. So that means that the ones that have just a group owner like that. Let me unselect everything. That is not going to let you send an email. So if you try to select a single one of these, it emails grayed out anyway. But if you select just all of them and send an email, it's just going to give you an error and say that it's not sending an email to that, because a group, an Office 365 group, apparently can't have an email sent to it from here, at least. All right, so now another, let's see, so some questions. How is a group site different than a regular SharePoint site? An Office 365 group, there are a lot of differences. An Office 365 group has a lot of other just extra stuff you get with it, like it has a planner plan, it has an email address, it has the ability to create Microsoft Teams from it associated with a group. It, of course, has a SharePoint site. It has a shared calendar. It's got just all this stuff just built into it, and a SharePoint site is just the site itself. It's just, yeah. Those have been around for a few years, though. That's not a new concept. Let me go over, refresh this here. Come on. I'll just go look at another one. So this is a team site, and this is an Office 365 group. And one quick way that I can tell is it's got this little member thing up at the top, and it's going to have this little conversations thing, because an Office 365 group also is gonna, I'm not gonna open Outlook on this demo, but it's also gonna show up in Outlook. So you're gonna see your list of Office 365 groups down the left side in Outlook and in Outlook Web Access, and because those all have email addresses. Yeah, and those can be created by anyone in your organization, like Steve said. And if I go to like the SharePoint home, let me go to the SharePoint home. SharePoint home, and by default, now I have mine locked down in one of my tenants, but this one's not locked down. So there's a PowerShell way to make it so that only people in a certain group of people, like an AD group, I think, can actually see this button and create a site. But everything you create with this create a site as a team site actually creates as an Office 365 group. Communication sites are not, because those are more equivalent to the publishing. All right. I'm not going to get too in the weeds with that, because I want to go over some more stuff here. So a hub site hub sites can be done from here too. So I have this, let's go, I'm going to refresh this and find that site that I just converted to be a, let's see, where was it? Maybe not. Projects. It was like, I called it Jared Projects or something like that. I don't even see it in here anymore. Oh well, I'll just do a different one. Okay, so hub site. I can convert any site here to a hub site, or I can associate it with a hub site. So for example, this one, let's see if IW Mentor Training is associated with a hub site yet. How do I know? It's on the hub site association is empty. So I can take this and associate it with a hub site, and then I'd have to have a hub site first for it to associate it with that. So I can go make one of these a hub site. So I've got this modern site here. Let's go say sites/modern, and I will go convert to be a hub site. Modern intranet hub there. And it can be an Office 365 group or a communication site, whatever you make a hub site here. Let's see. Stacy, no, there's no difference. Whichever URL you use, it's just going to have that different little part in the URL, right? So Joelle, where in the settings would that be?
I think it's with the just in the regular settings. It has that ability, and then also the ability to stop
okay.
some
Because
sites.
when I originally did it,
Yeah, I think it's newer.
I did it in PowerShell. Okay, that'll be one of the things I go over here. I'll go over when I go over settings over here in a second. Okay, so I made this modern site a hub site, and then I can take this IW Mentor training and associate it with a hub site. So now it sees this modern intranet hub I have and associates that one with it. So now if I go to this modern site, it is a hub site and it's got its own special navigation up here. And then, and this is stuff we've done in other power hours, but once I have a hub site, there's a web part I can put on here that's going to show all the sites that are connected to that hub site, and I can roll up news and stuff like that. All right, let's go back to the admin concept here. So those are the things I can do on this new admin screen. And then I also have deleted sites here that this is a site collection recycle bin that I can go restore if I want to. And then let's go look at policies. We have access control here. Let's see. Tony says, just remember to remove downgrade a hub site via PowerShell before you delete the site. Not sure how I know that. Interesting. Okay. Make it not a hub site if you want to delete it. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Zach was asking, I remember there's a setting for removing those buttons, but unless it's changed, it was a global setting.
Yeah, I answered that.
Oh,
it's just
what was that?
what he's talking about, the creating site stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's exact. Okay, same thing. All right, access control. We have unmanaged devices. This is going to basically allow you to manage what all the people do, whether they allow full access from desktop apps, mobile apps, and the web. And then basically you can block them from being able to get to SharePoint from the mobile app is what you're doing here. You can even block it from web only access. And this is, yeah, I don't know why. Well, I guess some organizations are really strict about things like that, but that's where you would do it. Warn and sign out users on unmanaged devices after a period of inactivity. This setting applies when users don't select to stay signed in. So this is whether you want to sign out. It's only on unmanaged devices. Network location, only access sites from specific IP ranges. Some third-party apps in previous versions of Office can't enforce device-based restrictions. Do you want to block access from apps that don't use this modern authentication? That's interesting. Let's go to settings. This is not new. This has been in the admin center for a while. So a lot of this just looks a little bit different. So this is where I highly recommend all of you do this. Microsoft's really pushing everyone to go move everything, switch it over to modern. And I have several customers that still haven't done this, even though modern came out like at least a couple of years ago now. That just, it's, I guess it's this fear of change, and you don't want to, the end users are used to a certain thing. You don't want to yank it out from under them, right? So this is, think about when you go to the view all site content. Even if you've got some modern lists and libraries, you're using the modern look, you still, when you go view all site content, you might see that classic look of all the little squares. So this is going to force all the sites to use just the new modern experience from there. Art's asking for the PowerShell. I don't know off the top of my head where it was. I had just Googled it at the time. I don't know if anybody knows where that happens to be, if you can share it with him. Oh wait, let's see, I skipped one. This is mobile apps. So this is whether you want to allow notifications in the Office mobile apps. So it's like SharePoint and OneDrive and those apps if you want to. That's kind of a big setting to turn off globally. I don't know why you'd want people not to be notified, because you could manage your notifications on your own device. I guess maybe if people, you don't want them to have to manage it themselves, you just don't want them to be notified, you could turn that off. Easily share storage among all sites or control storage limits by site. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna set that to manual because I want to set specific limits for each site, because we have a training company, IW Mentor, and we have students that our ultimate subscription, which gives everybody a student account and a site that they can do the labs in, and they have an account in our tenant and everything. But when I didn't really like it when this new modern admin stuff came out, because I didn't have, and Office 365 groups, because I didn't have the ability to put a quota on the student sites like I had before. So this is going to be good. I like to be able to set specific limits on each site. Of course, you could do it from, via PowerShell before anyway. And then, no, I don't want, so this is where that you don't want to, you do want to open the new modern admin by default. So now that this new modern admin center has a lot of the things that I've been waiting for, I really like the ability to just turn this on and have this be the new default SharePoint admin center. And here's the thing that we were just talking about a few minutes ago. Well, no, actually this doesn't control whether they can create sites. It just says where they get created. So each time people create new team sites, create them under, and you can pick the URL. So maybe you can set it to default to teams if you want to. So every time someone clicks the create site button, that's where it's going to put it. And then you might, when you as an admin, when you're creating sites, you might want to put them under /sites. It's up to you how you use that. My default time zone needs to be Central Time because I'm in Central Time. And yeah, let users create new sites. Yeah, that's that setting. So that is not going to, that's going to take away that button, which I thought I had already taken away that button in my tenant when I did it with PowerShell, but maybe that would be weird if they could create new sites if it just ignored what I had done with PowerShell. So I'm not sure if that on switch means just the specific group that I had given access to do that. I might have to test that with one of our student accounts. So I'm going to leave that alone. For now, I'll leave that on. Okay, let's see. All right, so we went over access control and settings. The advanced stuff is the API management. I don't know anything about APIs. I'm not a developer. So that is not going to take long to do that. That's under advanced. Let's see. So Zach says I just tried it, but it didn't remove it from the SharePoint home. I can go test that. Let's see. I am in, which tenant am I in? Yeah, I'm in this IW Mentor tenant. And I want to see that that thing that I just turned on with the quotas, if that just is going to magically appear here now. Oh, look at that. There are my quotas. So like, here's a student site. So this wasn't here a minute ago. Here's where I can go change the storage limit. So now I can do this on all these individually if I want to. I wonder if I can select multiple ones and do this. Probably not. Let's see. Student 100, 101, blah, 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 blah. And no, I can't do that with multiple. Okay, so I can change my storage limit to, like, I don't know, 5 gig or something like that. And do I want them to be notified when they get to 98%? And this setting existed in the classic, forever. It's been in there. It's just the interface looked completely different. And you would have to have turned this off probably with PowerShell, because the email that went out letting you know about your quota was just one of those default things that was just on. So I could go every time I create a student site, I could, let's go look at the create button and see if it gives me my quota now. Yes. So now, since I turned on that setting to be able to manage the quota, now every time we create a student site, we do have the ability to do this. You can also create, now this is what we do in Flow, is you can also create these sites with Flow. Did you know that? Now, since I got to the end of all the stuff in the admin center, we can go look at the OneDrive admin center. We have a few minutes left, but I want to show you the action that you can use to be able to go create create a site. Where is it? Oh yeah, Team Flows. Okay, so this is, we have a little, set of tasks that we go through whenever we have new students that buy our ultimate subscription that gives you a student account. So I have this workflow that gets triggered that when an item's created in a certain SharePoint list, it creates the user, and that is these are Azure. Let me show you what the actions are. Azure AD. See, I've got Azure AD, create user. That will create the user in my tenant. I can even add the user to a group, assign a manager, check their membership. It looks like a few of these have actually are new since last time I looked at it. But so I have to create the student account, and then I can create the group. So let's go look at, I'll show you what one of those, let's see, group. That's going to be under, no, it's create group. Hold on. Which setting was that? Azure. Oh yeah, it was group. Create group, yeah. Create group Azure AD. And then, so it creates the group, and so it says student whatever. And this is actually a SharePoint site that it's creating, because when it creates this group, an Office 365 group, it contains a SharePoint site. So now it creates a group for that student, and even gives them unified is the type of group that's basically contains everything that I was telling you that it contains. Then it goes and gets the group, that group that it just created, and it takes that user that it just created and adds it to that group. So after I create the group, I need to get its ID, so I can put the ID in here and say, so that's just one way to do a little workflow to be able to create users and groups. Just a little fun thing that I did. And then let's see, as far as the admin goes, we can go to the OneDrive admin center from here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lisa Jo said, was that a result of the PowerShell or the admin toggle? Oh yeah, the admin toggle. We'll look at that too in a second. Steve says, what kind of permission would you need in AD to be able to create an Azure AD account? You're gonna need, I'm a global admin, so I haven't actually tested that. I would be, let's see, when I go to users, so see, here's Joelle. I can see what her role. See, she's a user management administrator and a SharePoint administrator. So I think that you have to have, I don't know if you have to have user management administrator and Exchange. I don't know if you have to have both to be able to do that, but probably at least user management. I'm not sure. And probably to create the group, you might need to be a SharePoint admin, but maybe not. So no, I don't know. I haven't tested any of that. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Now let's see. I can try logging in as a different user and see if that ability to create sites is still gone, or if it like all of a sudden lit back up, because I did do the PowerShell that doesn't let people create them. Let me see. I'm going to, we'll look at the OneDrive Admin Center too. We've got a few minutes left. Okay. Here's, so from SharePoint Admin, I can go to OneDrive Admin. And I think I've done Power Hours on OneDrive Admin before, so I'm not sure how much has changed since last time I did that. You have the ability to customize your sharing, whether people can sync their OneDrive down to their hard drive. You can narrow it down so that only people that are joined to specific domains can. That's a really good idea. So people that just are kind of rogue computers can't sync all your business stuff down to their hard drive. And then you can even block certain file types. This is where you would specify your storage limit for your users. And I put mine really low. And I think I went into PowerShell too for Joelle and I, because I have all these students, like I said, so I want them to have a low amount of storage. But I went into PowerShell and ran some commands just for me and Joelle to give us a larger amount of storage in our OneDrives. And again, I don't remember what that was. These are like little snippets that I'll just go download somewhere and try out, and then don't ever remember what I did with it. This is all controlling device access. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Wow, migrate content. Okay, that just gives you a link. So what I was going to do was quickly go log in as a different account and go try and look at that create site button and see if it's there or not. So go in a guest window and I'll go to, I can't type, and log in as a student. So student 240. I'm just going to see if they have that create site button. SharePoints. Oh, they do. So yeah, they didn't used to have this when I ran the PowerShell. So that's kind of, that's alarming. What do you think? That's alarming that all of a sudden now I had set it with PowerShell to only allow certain people in certain groups the ability to create sites. And now all of a sudden, I didn't know it, but maybe when this rolled out, that got negated. I'm not sure.
Ooh, that's not good. That's something for people to
That's awesome.
check.
Fatty says, how about increasing or decreasing server resources quota? Can we modify that in the new experience? Server resources. I don't know. Just the storage limit is all I see in here. So no, I'm not sure. Yeah, so I just turned that button off now, and I wonder how fast that setting is going to take. So no, they still have the create site button. So that might be one of those ones that, runs on a timer job or something. It'll show up later. But yeah, so that is good to know that that button was there. Who knows? Maybe the button will, give them an error when they try to create one, but I doubt it. Let me see. No, I'm not going to even try that right now. Okay. Well, it's just about time to wrap up. Let's see. You all lots of questions, lots of discussion going on. Oh, Steve says that happened with them. Oh, well, good to know. It's not just me. That's alarming. So, note to self, note to all of you. You might want to go check that setting if you set yours to not allow people to create sites. Oh my goodness. Lisa Jo says, how is this different from what it offers in Azure AD about creating groups? I was thinking we control both of these groups in SharePoint sites since in modern they're joined at the hip. Are you saying it's necessary to restrict SharePoint site creation in the admin separately from restricting to create groups, which is in Azure?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. It's a separate setting. It's like she's talking about being able to create a group directly in the admin center and
Like
versus
groups
creating
of
a site.
people as opposed to Office 365 groups?
Well, no, I think she just means like if you create a group in the admin center, right? You can go in and create a group right from the main admin center.
Yeah.
And she's talking about, but then they could also create a group through create site, right? Because that's going to create a group. So the answer to her is that, yeah, they're two separate things. Because your users may not go to the admin center and create groups that way because they don't have the ability to do that, but they can create a group through the create site option. You see what I'm saying? Okay, yeah.
So yeah, that's what that site creation setting is controlling, is users going to that SharePoint home. And also, I think when you create a new team, that creates a new site, right? So that would prevent them from going into Teams and doing that as well, I would think.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm not sure. Have to test that.
Create team. Don't make me authenticate. I log in to so many tenants. Half the time I just... Oh, that's not... Anyway, all right. Half the time I just go in there and use it in the browser instead of using the software, just because I always want to go to a specific one. Let me see. All right. Let's see, what else? A couple more questions. Yeah, Lisa Jo, yeah, if you designate a separate SharePoint security group to be the only ones to create groups. That is what I had done with PowerShell. And so I don't know if that setting is what got negated. I'm not sure what that little on-off switch does when you have run the script to designate just a specific group. So that would be interesting. I'm not sure. All right, well, maybe we should wrap it up. Next week's Thanksgiving, so we're not having Power Hour next week. And we're having a, keep an eye out, we're having a big Cyber Monday sale. So I just sent it out in the newsletter. Let's see. I'll put a link in the chat window. We're going to have 30% off all of our training starting the day after Thanksgiving through the end of Cyber Monday. And I haven't put the code out there yet. All I have right now is just when you click in the email that I sent in the newsletter, it just puts you like in the mailing list to be able to get all those. So I have to go create like a form and everything if you want to join it, if you haven't already. Okay, let me get the link to that. And let's see. But yeah, that's it for Power Hour. I just am gonna give you all a link in the chat window to be able to go to that information about our Cyber Monday sale. Just gotta go find it. Sorry. Okay, here it is. Let's see. copy that. And thanks, David. Yeah, see you later. There we go. That I know that link is kind of ugly, but it's the link that takes you to the Cyber Monday sale and also puts you in the funnel to get the emails about it automatically. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. I will see you next time in a couple of weeks. And thanks for coming, and thanks for all the lively chat today. I have a happy Thanksgiving. Bye, everybody. Thanks. Oh, thanks for the link, Zach.